fake producers should be terrified of Suno and other AI platforms because AI is exposing fake producers for what they are. This isn't necessarily my opinion, it's the opinion of the legendary producer group, the Justice League. And based on their conversation with Don Cannon, their opinion is that AI is going to push out a lot of people from the producer community, rappers too. It's going to replace a lot of them because they're just not good enough to compete. And then the ones that are good enough to compete, they'll stick around and they'll stand out from all the AI prompters because all that stuff is probably going to sound the same. Now, the question is, will access to AI mean more saturation or less saturation? Will the fact that anybody can just type in a prompt, hit a button, and a beat comes out hurt talented producers because people are no longer going to have taste because they're so used to listening to AI slop? Or will the producer space being saturated by similar sounding, simple AI slop beats actually mean that producers who are amazing at what they do will be in higher demand and therefore benefit a lot from it? So basically thinning the herd. There are too many producers in the space right now. There aren't enough talented producers, and AI is going to expose a lot of the fake producers, get them out of there, and create space for the most talented of the producer community. I agree and disagree, and I ended up debating with Damon. I know for the most part, Damon and I agree about AI, but we disagree on a lot of things. I pretty much disagree with everybody in the music producer space, even my own peers. That's why I don't even talk with them about this stuff, because why? You know, everyone's on their different sides. But I think this conversation was really interesting, and I want to know what you think. So I'm going to play the clip, pause the video, leave a comment, tell me what you think this is going to lead to, what the future of the music producer space is going to look like after a year or two of AI saturation.
Who are you investing now? Are you investing in yourself? Are you investing in AI?
Just where it's going is crazy. Like, it's a brand new way. So I feel like these are tools that inspire the minds, because we're going against AI is like a million men's minds in one.
That's
right?
Yep.
But it can never conquer you because you can still create.
That's right.
You're one step above. It records everything we did yesterday. It's wondering what we're doing now.
That's right.
Because we're creating it, because it's our son. We're always going to be in control of it, and it's just a tool. But it also devalues people's work.
Were they valuable in the first place?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the cream always rises to the top.
That
right?
always happens.
So it's like, okay, so AI is really exposing a lot of these fucking motherfuckers that don't really...
AI is the skateboard. It's a skateboard.
You know what I'm saying?
I knew at one point that motherfucker was gonna start that shit. I knew it.
It's a platform.
Like, bro, like, listen, think about it. AI is exposing the people that are not needed in the overbloat of all the bullshit.
1,000%.
Like, bro, we don't need this many producers. We don't need this many rappers. We don't need this many.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The cream is always gonna rise to the top. People like us.
A little confused by the last piece where he says we don't need this many rappers. I feel like it's only going to encourage more people to try, right? Like, I don't.
Oh, you think so? Why do you think that?
Because it's easier, right? I feel like you got more producers because of Fruity Loops, right? Fruity Loops made it a little easier to make beats.
Well,
right?
yeah,
So,
but that's one of those comparisons that I would throw out of the conversation.
But so I agree that the cream rises to the top. And I believe that if you know music and you have a history of production, like, you'll be able to use AI because, even if you use Suno right now to create a beat, it's going to spit something out and you're going to want to add some shit to it to make it better. You're going to know how to do that, where to do it. So I think you having experience in production, you have a leg up on people that are just now starting to use Suno, but I think more people are going to try. Like, I don't see how it's less people.
So the reason I disagree with that is, and it goes back to the FL Studio analogy. So when I was a teenager, like a little ass kid, and I got one of the earliest versions of FL back when it was still called Fruity Loops, I would push a button and a sound would come out. And then I would hit the play on the step sequencer and I was like, wow, this is how this works. It felt criminal because it felt easy, especially given that the price point was, it might have even been freeware at the time, or there was a free demo or something. But compared to an actual Roland step sequencer, and some kind of MIDI setup. Those were thousands of dollars. I remember wanting to use, they had a MIDI setup at my school, and the teacher showed us how it worked, but he wouldn't let me mess with it. It's expensive stuff. And all I wanted to do was make music. And so when I found this, I was like, nah, it's too easy. Something's wrong. And I think a lot of people were upset at that. Now here's where the comparison starts to break down. Me as a kid who's sitting there wide-eyed in front of his computer screen using Fruity Loops is thinking, all right, this is amazing. What's next? And the more I made, the more I realized I needed to learn more. When I would make something, I would hit a ceiling. I would hit a point of limitation, and then I would want to go beyond that. How do I play my own sounds into the computer? Oh, we can't do that yet. So it wasn't just my limits, it was also the software's limits. So they had to continue to upgrade and update. And to this day, they still do that. They're still adding features. With AI, with Suno, if you were a beginner, if you're a little kid and you want to make music, you go onto Suno, you say, make me a Travis Scott beat or whatever. You push a button and that beat comes out. That's it. You don't sit there and think, what else can I do? Because there's not much else you can do. You can't really.
There's not? I thought that's how it worked. I thought you could, because I've never made a beat, but I've generated images, right? So I'll generate an image and I'll be like, actually turn the shirt red.
No, you got to use it. It's not that kind of prompting. So if you use Studio, which I never have, you have more control over the stuff. But ultimately, the reason why the vast majority of AI music that's generated by platforms like Suno sounds the same and sounds so just kind of flat is because that's how people are using it. You type in the prompt, what you get is what you get. You can refine the prompt and start over, but it's not like ChatGPT where you say, oh, change that snare. That music is already generated.
I thought you could make those. Can you bounce the stems? Can you, or no?
If you have a premium account, you can bounce the stems, yeah, but stems aren't always great sounding because Suno doesn't look at, and their programmers have admitted this, Suno doesn't look at the totality of their output as different sounds. They look at it, or as different instruments. They look at it as just data. And so oftentimes it doesn't sound great. It depends, right? It absolutely depends. But what I do agree with is Corleone saying that the work is always going to be derivative. So as Suno is, and this is kind of empowering, but I think it's scarier than it is empowering when he says, all right, we're always one step ahead of these generative AI platforms as humans, because every time, for example, let's just stick with Suno. Suno needs human data. A lot of people are saying, oh yeah, well, it's superior to humans. It can't be superior to human musicians because it requires human musicians for it to even exist. So what he was saying is it's like having a million people's minds, because yeah, Suno did steal millions of people's catalogs. So in a sense, it took parts of their minds and combined them. But then a lot of other people are saying, well, as a human, it's derivative, so it can't ever be better than me, because tomorrow I can make something new that Suno doesn't have.
How long do you think before that changes, though?
Like when it starts becoming a real brain and like thinking like an actual human and innovating?
It can create something original. Like it's.
I think here, this is where this is going for me, at least. The point is, regardless of what's coming out, Suno can just take that. The most original stuff, unless people completely guard it from the internet, is going right the fuck back into their database. It's going right into their LLM, because if it goes on YouTube, they're snatching it, they're ripping it. If it goes on Spotify, they're snatching it. Like, let's say I find something that's really different that's not on YouTube, and I'm one of these shitheads, I can just take that and bring it into Suno. And Suno, as we know, it doesn't have these copyright detection safeguards like it says it does. That's been proven time and time again. All you have to do is, if it rejects it, you just speed it up and it'll accept it as original. And you feed it into Suno. Next thing you know, it's part of that overall system. Now, granted, what's always going to be the main input that comes out? Well, it's going to be the average, right? And the average is going to be pop music. So a lot of that's the reason why most of that stuff sounds the same, by default at least. But innovation, it's like cat and mouse, right? Or hunter and animal. I mean, creatives are the animals being hunted by these generative AI platforms, where the second you create something new, the second you do anything cool, either the users or the platforms themselves, or both in tandem, are going to hunt that shit down and poach it and pull it into their system. So they're always chasing what you're doing, but it's not like how the labels used to be, where it's like they see something cool and they try to recreate it. With the LLMs, they can just automatically snatch what's coming out. And I think that's depressing. A lot of people might look at it as empowering and be like, okay, well, we're always ahead of the curve, but it's like, you can't outrun a machine like that. They're pulling from the entire internet.
So what's your, I guess I'm not following. So what are you saying? So with that being said, then what?
Burn it all down. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, that's not happening. I mean, to me, I feel like every episode now there's some bit of AI that we're talking about, but it really just like shows how important like your branding is, your community building and your branding. And I know that you, in that segment before, we talked about, followers don't always matter, and that's true. However, like, if you are comfortable being more present, more vocal, telling stories, it can only benefit you and allow you to stay longer in this space and have more success.
Well, fans matter. And I mean, to put that into perspective, right? If you have 10,000, if you have 10,000 followers on it, because that's what the guy said, you shouldn't be charging a lot for beats if you don't have more than 10,000 followers, which I assume is like maybe as many as he has or as many as he wants to have. If you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, those people, they could be fake, they could be inactive, they could be friends and family, they could be people that are also producers as a producer. So they're not your customers. So it really doesn't mean anything. If you have 1,000 paying members on Patreon, that's infinitely more valuable than having 10,000 followers. If you have 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, but you have a Discord community of 1/5 of that, that's infinitely more valuable. So followers are just a vanity metric. Again, to your point, Dame, I don't agree that us building community is the way to combat AI, but it's the only way for us to survive, I think.
It's the way to protect. It's the way to protect yourself. I don't know. I wouldn't know if combat is the word I would use, but it's a way to protect yourself against and continue to be able to have a career in this industry.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's survival. If you want to survive in the industry, one, you should be doing that anyway. But the big reason people do that is because everything is so picked over now. And it is saturated. And I back to the original, I think the original debate was, aren't there going to be more artists because of AI, the same way because the digital audio workstation allowed for more people? I actually agree with Rook when he said we don't need more producers or rappers. I don't think that Suno is going to result in thinning the herd necessarily. Well, it might actually, because I think, and tell me what you think, Dame, because you initially disagree with this. I think the psychology of AI is causing a lot of damage to people because it's discouraging a lot of artists to get into music. It's encouraging a lot of non-artists to jump in because it looks easy and they can just create slop, as they call it.
There's going to be more people making music, whether they call themselves artists or not. Or whether
making music or making music.
Yeah, making music, however they do it. Like, prompting, creating from scratch, whatever. Like, there's going to be more people making music. Whether or not they identify as artists remains to be seen. But more songs will be made. Because even before the AI boom, I think the number was like 100,000 a day, even without it, right? So now, I don't know what the number is now, but I would imagine it's at least 3 times that, 4 times, maybe 5 times that. Oh, Pang said his cat turned off his computer. Hilarious.